All right, thank you very much. You know, Fitbit app, it was the most downloaded app in the days following Christmas, which means that we got it as a gift and we couldn't wait to put it to use because it tracks your steps, it tracks your calories, it tracks your heart rate, among other things, so it can help you reach your fitness goals. Fitbit right here. I have already 5,051 steps. Okay, there is a dark side to these things that track your health. Joining us this morning, internet expert Dave Hatter. Everywhere we turn, something good comes along, and then there's a dark side to it, right?
There is, unfortunately.
So this here tracks everything. It tracks pretty much where you are, how much you walk around, how many calories you burn, all kinds of things, correct?
Is that a charge, Fitbit charge?
It's a Fitbit Charge HR.
Okay, and I have a Force. I keep it in my pocket because I'm allergic to the band. And you can see it's all worn out, but it works in my pocket. So yeah, it tracks all kinds of data about you. And
yeah,
you know, Rob, I'm kind of with you. I'm into that quantifiable self thing.
Right.
I can tell you, having this encourages me to be a lot more active than I would be otherwise. There's no doubt about it. But the downside is it is capturing a lot of information about you. And increasingly, people want that data.
So where does it go?
Well, that's an excellent question. You know, it's going to depend, of course, on the company's device that you have, but Fitbit essentially has servers out in the cloud. They're rolling all that data up through your phone or through devices you might plug into another device. It's rolled up into their cloud servers, and that's another thing I love about Fitbit is it gives you some great reports. You know, you can see how many steps or calories you burned in a year over a given period of time. The bigger concern, though, is who can control that data? And I think even more importantly, like if you look at Radio Shack, they went out of business. Now there's a lawsuit over who owns their data because people want that.
Because, and the other thing is that even if they do take due diligence to make sure that data doesn't get out, you don't know how good they are, and you don't know how good the hackers are in getting in there.
Well, I think there's really three aspects.
Okay.
You're right on the money. There's, can a hacker steal that data?
Yeah.
And again, in many cases, things like health data is more valuable than credit cards because banks have become so good at fraud detection.
Sure.
They can use that kind of information for identity theft. People also don't understand how this data can be used against them. It's increasingly subpoenaed in court cases to prove you were or you weren't somewhere or you aren't disabled or things like that. So there's another potential downside you need to understand as a user of these devices. And then finally, again, if a company is sold or goes out of business, what happens to your data? Who has access to it? Who might have access to it down the road? And how could it potentially be used in ways you never originally anticipated when you signed up to use this?
Okay, there are like 780 million people right now who are using some type of fitness device that tracks how well you're doing. In terms of keeping yourself or controlling your destiny, what can you do?
Well, obviously you can just choose not to use it. And also, Rob, I want to throw out there, like, you know, this is a Samsung smartwatch. It has many of the same capabilities. So it's not just these fitness devices. It's the Internet of Things. It's all these smart devices. So what you can do is you can read the privacy policy and the terms of use, usually a bunch of legalese, mumbo jumbo, so that's questionable.
You take that and throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, pretty much. You can not use it, or you can at least try to do some research and find the most reputable companies out there that provide these kind of devices. Because, you know, again, that's one of the things that really makes it valuable is it does roll your data up and it makes it easy for you to use. So.
Is there any way to get rid of it? Because it seems like the cloud is just following us around for the rest of our lives, and we don't know how that information in the future we're buying into, right? We buy into this, but we don't know how it's going to be used against us in the future.
That's my biggest thing of caution for people. If you decide to do this, which like you, I've done, there's enough value in it for me that I'm willing to assume the risk. Understand what the risks are and then decide for yourself because, the data is not going to go away. And it could potentially be used in ways you had not anticipated.
Before we were talking about pictures are out there forever, but now it's data.
Everything is out there forever. Just assume it's forever.
Dave, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob.
I think you're paranoid, but you're starting to become like a prophet in terms of the internet. Dave,